The United States-Canada border, stretching over 5,500 miles, is more than just a line on a map. It's a vital economic artery that pulses with the daily movement of people, goods, and ideas. For generations, this border has symbolized not only the connection between two nations, but also the lifeblood of countless communities that depend on its openness. Each year, over $700 billion in goods and services cross this border, making it one of the busiest and most economically significant in the world. Alaska, in particular, relies heavily on the Alaska Highway as its primary land link to the rest of the United States, with everything from groceries to fuel traveling this route. The flow of commerce is constant, supporting jobs and livelihoods on both sides. But now, new Canadian restrictions, citing health and security concerns, have tightened access dramatically. These measures have disrupted not only commerce, but also the daily routines of families, workers, and travelers who once crossed with ease. Mandatory quarantines and strict entry requirements have choked off non-essential traffic, turning what used to be routine drives into lengthy, bureaucratic ordeals. The sense of freedom and connection that once defined the border has been replaced by uncertainty and frustration. Alaskans now face a new kind of isolation. Supply chains are disrupted, leading to shortages in stores and delays in essential goods. Military families, too, are left waiting at the border, their plans and lives put on hold by the new restrictions. The ripple effects are immediate and severe. Small businesses struggle to survive, and political tensions are on the rise as leaders on both sides grapple with the fallout. What was once a symbol of open cooperation and trust is now a point of friction, fueling heated responses from Washington and sparking diplomatic disagreements that threaten to escalate. The summer travel season, crucial for Alaska's economy and the livelihoods of thousands, is now under serious threat. Tourism businesses face an uncertain future as visitors stay away. The prospect of a partially closed border with America's closest ally is forcing a painful reevaluation of a century of cross-border partnership, shared history, and mutual trust. The stakes for Alaska and for the US-Canada relationship as a whole have never been higher. The decisions made now will shape the future of this vital artery for years to come. Canada's border restrictions are sending economic shockwaves through Alaska and its border towns, creating a ripple effect that is felt far and wide. The once bustling border crossings now stand eerily silent, a stark reminder of the challenges these communities face. Communities like Haines, Skagway, and Tok, which were built around the Alaska Highway, are witnessing their lifeblood, tourism and trade, dry up as travelers vanish. The streets that once buzzed with activity are now empty, echoing the silence of a struggling economy. Hotels, restaurants, and tour operators are facing catastrophic losses, with some reporting revenue drops of over 80%. The vibrant tourism industry, a cornerstone of these towns, is now a shadow of its former self, leaving many to wonder if recovery is possible. For many small business owners, this isn't just a downturn, it's an existential threat. The fear of permanent closure looms large as they grapple with the harsh reality of dwindling customers and mounting bills. Supply chains for essential goods are strained, with truckers facing delays and costly new requirements. These logistical hurdles add to the burden, making it increasingly difficult to maintain the flow of goods that these communities rely on. These costs inevitably hit consumers, driving up prices for groceries and necessities. The sight of empty shelves and rising prices is becoming all too common, adding to the stress of daily life for residents. The uncertainty is paralyzing. Businesses can't plan, and investment has stalled. The future seems bleak, with many unable to see a clear path forward amidst the chaos and confusion. Even if restrictions lift, Alaska's reputation as an accessible destination may be permanently damaged. The long-term impact on tourism could be devastating, as potential visitors may choose other destinations, fearing similar disruptions. The open border was the foundation of many communities' economic models, a vital link that supported livelihoods and fostered growth. Its closure has forced a re-evaluation of how these towns can sustain themselves in the future. Now, that foundation is crumbling, forcing a fundamental reassessment of Alaska's future. The need for adaptation and resilience has never been more urgent as communities strive to rebuild and redefine their economic landscape. The tremors today could signal a lasting economic shift for the region. The challenges are immense, but so too is the opportunity for innovation and change as Alaska navigates this uncertain terrain. The stakes are not just financial, they're about survival. Families and businesses alike are fighting to hold on, hoping for a brighter future amidst the shadows of the present. The new border restrictions are taking a heavy personal toll, reaching far beyond simple inconvenience. For those living along the US-Canada line, the impact is felt in every aspect of daily life, from the way people shop to how they connect with loved ones. In Hyder, Alaska, residents depend on Stewart, BC, for groceries, gas, and medical care. Now, every trip is a bureaucratic challenge, requiring paperwork, long waits, and uncertainty about whether they'll be allowed to cross at all. Families are separated, daily routines upended, and a once porous border has become a hard barrier that splits friends, relatives, and even children from their schools or grandparents. The sense of a single, integrated community is fractured, replaced by anxiety and frustration, as neighbors find themselves on opposite sides of a line they once crossed without a second thought. Across the region, cross-border collaborations, family reunions, and community events have been canceled, leaving a void where celebrations and shared traditions once brought people together. The social fabric, woven over decades of cooperation and friendship, is unraveling as isolation and uncertainty take its place. Many feel abandoned by distant policymakers, seeing the restrictions as political tools rather than genuine public health measures, and feeling their unique needs are ignored. Goodwill is eroding, replaced by resentment and division, as frustration grows and trust in authorities fades. The human cost is measured in lost friendships, separated families, and a growing sense of isolation that weighs heavily on mental health and community spirit. For border communities, the damage is deeply personal, affecting livelihoods, relationships, and the very sense of belonging. The border is no longer a bridge, it's a wall, and for many, it feels like a wound that may take years to heal. Alaska's key industries are reeling from the border restrictions. Mining, energy, and fishing rely on the Alaska Highway for equipment, supplies, and workers. Now, delays and costs threaten their viability. Tourism, a multi-billion-dollar summer industry, has been devastated as independent travelers and land tours vanish. Cruise ship tourism is also hit, with cross-border excursions canceled. Widespread layoffs and closures have followed, clouding the state's economic outlook. The crisis exposes Alaska's vulnerability over-reliance on a single land route through Canada. Calls for self-sufficiency and alternative routes are growing, but solutions are years away. For now, Alaska's industries remain hostage to a diplomatic standoff. The future is more uncertain than ever. The US-Canada relationship, long a model of cooperation, is under severe strain. Friendly partnership has given way to contention and distrust, with border restrictions fueling broader political friction. Grassroots goodwill is eroding as daily interactions become formal and suspicious. Political rhetoric has turned a logistical challenge into a matter of sovereignty, hardening positions on both sides. The result, a diplomatic stalemate harming people and businesses and fraying the cross-border bond. Trust, once lost, is hard to rebuild. The crisis has exposed deep differences and the fragility of the relationship. The friendship is being tested as never before, with new barriers, physical and psychological, emerging. The risk, a partnership permanently weakened. Washington's response to Canada's restrictions has been swift and furious. President Trump has condemned the measures as an attack on American sovereignty, threatening tariffs, and even a US-only road to Alaska. The White House's fiery rhetoric has escalated the dispute, turning a bilateral issue into a high-profile confrontation. Ottawa, led by Prime Minister Trudeau, remains resolute, defending the restrictions as necessary for public health. Canadian officials insist their policies are science-based, not political, and stress the temporary nature of the measures. Behind the scenes, diplomats work to de-escalate tensions while holding firm. The contrast is stark. Washington's public anger versus Ottawa's quiet resolve. The standoff now defines US-Canada relations. The outcome will shape the partnership for years to come. The world is watching. Amid political tension, citizen diplomacy is keeping hope alive along the border. Ordinary people are pushing back against division, organizing community events and gestures of solidarity. Canadians shop in U.S. border towns to support struggling neighbors. Americans celebrate Canada Day in return. These acts reinforce the message that personal relationships transcend politics. Grassroots efforts absorb some of the political shocks, preserving vital social connections. For border communities, the border remains a bridge, not a wall. This resilience is a testament to the enduring strength of the U.S.-Canada relationship. Even as leaders clash, citizens quietly mend fences. The Buckwheat International Ski Classic became a powerful symbol of cross-border unity. Despite political turmoil, Canadians made up most of the racers, joining Alaskans in a festive, defiant celebration. The event transformed from a ski race into a statement of camaraderie and resilience. Participants skied side by side, rejecting the idea of division. The race reminded everyone that shared traditions and personal connections can outlast political discord. For many, attending was a conscious choice to prioritize community over conflict. The Ski Classic offered hope and solidarity to border communities. It proved that, even in crisis, the spirit of friendship can thrive. As summer progresses, the future of the U.S.-Canada border remains uncertain. Economic decline, family separation, and the threat of a trade war loom large. Canada cites public health. The U.S. sees a hostile maneuver, making resolution elusive. Grassroots goodwill can't solve the political impasse, only high-level diplomacy can. The crisis exposes the risks of relying on a single, foreign-controlled route and erodes decades of trust. The era of a seamlessly open border may be over, replaced by regulation and suspicion. The answer to whether this is a temporary rift or a permanent shift will shape both nations' futures. For Alaska and its neighbors, everything hangs in the balance.